So we are going to talk about surface area of prisms today. So page 21. If you have multiple colors, if you happen to have a pencil pouch with multiple colors, will you take out, I need you to have at least 3 different colors. I am going to grab some colored pencils for some of you to choose from also. Surface area prisms. We're going to split this into 2 days. We're going to do prisms one day, cylinders tomorrow. You'll need your calculator also. Mason, please don't get that on my desk because I just cleaned out my desks this morning. Unless you want to clean them. Okay. We're going to use colors to help us identify all the pieces just because it makes it a little bit easier to see. Okay. Now, we're going to do this on your notes. Whether you do that on your homework is up to you. Okay. If you need it or not. All right. So, surface area prisms really means it's the sum of the areas of all the surfaces. Okay. So, if I have a box like this, and I want to find the surface area, okay, the surface area is all the surfaces. It's the top, the bottom, the sides, the front, the back, okay, it's like putting wrapping paper on a box. You're covering all the surface areas. It's painting the walls. You're covering the walls, okay? So in order to find surface area, we have a lot of pieces, okay? Now on a prism, sometimes it's a rectangular prism. Sometimes it's a triangular prism, but depending on the shape, they give us this formula. Okay, I don't really like this formula. This formula doesn't work very well for me, but I want you to see it because this is the formula that they give you on the MCA test. This formula right here. I had never seen this formula in my entire life until I started teaching. And then I saw it and I was like, what does that mean? Okay, 2 capital B. What does capital B stand for? Remember from last week, what does capital B stand for, Ellie? Area of the base. So really there's 2 of those, right? 2 capital B. There's the bottom and there's the top. That's 2 capital B's. And then it says capital P. Well, P stands for perimeter. So it's really saying perimeter times the height. Because if you took this and opened it up, it would be one big, long rectangle. Okay. I think that's tricky. I don't really like that a whole lot. Instead, I'm going to change our formulas a little bit, okay? Because I think it's much easier to think of it this way. If we have a rectangular prism, what we really end up with is the top and the bottom, so I'm going to say T and B, top and bottom, plus the front and the back, plus the left and the right sides, okay? So it's a bunch of rectangles. A prism is just really a bunch of rectangles where we have the top and the bottom, the front and the back, the left and the right, and we need to add them all up, okay? If it's a triangular prism, then it's a little bit different. In a triangular prism, we have 2 triangles, plus how many rectangles? How many rectangles? 3. Do they all have to be the same? No, not necessarily. So we have 2 triangles plus rectangle 1 plus rectangle 2 plus rectangle 3. And if we're finding surface area, we're just finding all of those pieces and putting them together. We're adding them all up. Now, if it's area, our label is going to be what? How do we label area? Junior. Units squared. So whether that's centimeters squared or feet squared or inches squared, because it's area, it's squared. Okay? Okay, the easiest way to do this is to just do it. So look at this first one. It's a triangular prism. Okay, I'm going to use colors. Tyler and Tyler, I need you paying attention. Right? Okay, good. You just made the video. All right, so since this is a triangular prism, we're going to do 2 triangles plus rectangle 1 plus rectangle 2 plus rectangle 3. Okay, that's my plan. That's everything I need to find. So write that down. I'll give you a second. Write it down. Okay, I'm going to start with the triangle. So I'm going to take one of my colors. I'm going to use purple since that's what I have right now. And I'm going to just outline the triangle. Grab one of your colors and do the same thing. We're only looking at the triangle right now. Okay, so if I ignore everything else and only look at the triangle, how do I find the area of that triangle? Abby?
Base times height.
Okay, so in this case, base times height divided by 2, that would be, what's the base and the height? Brecken.
Both. Or like,
Okay, what's the base, what's the height?
8.
Okay, and we have to do base times height divided by 2, so 8 times 3 divided by 2 is 24, divided by 2 is 12. How many triangles are there? 2 of them, right? So we have to times that by 2 and we get 24. So that's part of our answer. We've got the triangles done. Now we're going to move on to the rectangle. I'm going to grab a different color. I'm going to go with orange. It doesn't matter what rectangle we're going to start with. I'm going to start with this one on the bottom. I'm going to outline this rectangle on the bottom. Okay, the colors are just to help me see it and help me figure out what numbers go on that rectangle. So when I'm outlining this, I recognize that I outlined right here and here. So what numbers go with that rectangle, Colton? So rectangle 1 is 8 times 10, which is 8. Okay, that's another number I need. Okay, I'm going to grab another color. Green, and I'm going to go with this rectangle on the back, kind of this back side here. Okay, what numbers are on that rectangle? Emily? 5 and 10. Because it's this side, which is 5, and then this is 10, so 5 times 10 is 50. And then we have one more rectangle, so I'm going to change colors again. And it's this one right here. What are the numbers on that rectangle, Celia? 5 and 10, which is 50. To find the total surface area, we need to add all of those together. So we have 24 plus 80 plus 50 plus 50. 204 feet squared. Okay, now I had you use colors just to start to recognize those different pieces. Does that mean you have to use colors on everything? No, but if it helps you to outline it and draw it and see the color, then by all means do that on your homework too. Okay, you don't have to, but it might help you. Okay, questions on that one? Okay, we're gonna pause there. Go to lunch. I don't know. Okay, let's keep doing this and get it done. Okay, so looking at the next one. This time it's a rectangular prism. So if we have a rectangular prism, then what we really have is a top and a bottom plus the front and the back plus the left and the right. Okay, now I wrote it that way because on a rectangular prism, tell me about the top and the bottom. They're the same, right? Tell me about the front and the back. Same. Left and right? Same. So if I find the top, it's easy to get the bottom because I just double it. Okay, so I'm gonna color code again. I'm gonna start with the top and the bottom. Here's the top. I'm gonna outline the top in blue. You can do it whatever color you want. What shape is it? Well, rectangle, right? Okay, so the dimensions on that rectangle are 4 and 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. That's just the top. We also need the bottom, so what do I have to do with that number? Times it by 2. So that's 24. Okay, I'm going to swap colors. I'm going to do the front. Okay, here's the front, outlined in purple. What are the dimensions on the front? Mason.
4 and 8.
4 and 8. So 4 times 8 is 32. That's only the front. We also need the back. So what should I do with that? Times it by 2. So 32 times 2 is 64. And then we need the left and the right. So I'm going to outline with a different color. I did the right side. The right side is, what are the dimensions? Ellie? 8 times 3 is 24. That's just the right. We also need the left. So we times that by 2. That's 48. And we add all of that together. Go ahead, man.
136.
136 inches squared. Done. Okay, questions there? Okay, flip the page. Okay, I want you to try this one on your own. Find the surface area of that triangular prism. You can use colors if you want to color code it. See if you can come up with an answer. Is it working? Okay, so you might not be all the way done, but let's start working through this. If I start with the 2 triangles, I'm going to outline this triangle. What numbers are on that triangle? What's the base and the height, Abby?
6 and 7.
6 and 7. So I need 6 times 7 divided by 2. That's 21. There's 2 of them, so I have to times that by 2. I'm at 42. Okay, there's my 2 triangles. Agreed? Okay. Then I'm going to change colors. I'm going to go with this rectangle first on the bottom. What are the dimensions on that rectangle? 10 times 7, which is 70. Okay, then let's go with this one. This is 7 by 10. So that's 70 again. And finally, this one over here, which is 10 by 7 again, which is 70, and then we add those all up. 70, 70, 70 is 210 plus 42, 252 centimeters squared. Okay? Sound good? It's not that hard. There's a lot of pieces to it. There's a lot of numbers to it, but it's really not that hard. Okay. Sometimes we have to be careful because sometimes they try to trick us a little bit. So all outer surfaces of a box are covered with gold foil except the bottom. Okay. Sometimes when I am wrapping a present and I run out of wrapping paper, I just cover all the surfaces that somebody's gonna see. You just don't cover the bottom because nobody's gonna see it anyway, right? So maybe that's the case. They're just not gonna cover the bottom. This is a rectangular prism. So if we were covering the whole thing, we would do top, bottom, front, back, left, right, and add that all together. We're not covering the whole thing. Which side are we leaving out? The bottom. So I'm gonna cross this out because I'm not doing that. Okay, I'm not covering the bottom. So we need to put some labels on this box. It was 6 inches long, 4 inches wide, and 3 inches high. So I'm going to label it just like that, 6, 4, and 3. Let's start with the top. We do have to cover the top. So here's the top of the box. What are the numbers that would go with the top? Ellie? 6 and 4. That's 24. Do I times that by 2? No, because remember, we're not covering the bottom, so I just need this number. Done. Okay, I'm going to change colors. I like changing colors. Front and back. What are the numbers on the front? Mason.
6 and 3.
6 times 3 is 18. Do I have to times that by 2? Yes, because we also want the back. 18 times 2 is 36. And then left and right would be here. What are the numbers on the left and right?
3 and 4.
3 times 4 is 12. Would we times that by 2?
No.
Yeah, because we need the other side also. Times by 2, that's 24. Add that all together. 24 and 24 is 48. 48 plus 36 is 84 inches squared. Does that make sense? Okay. We're going to skip that last one. The other thing that I'd want to mention is, what if I wanted to paint this room? And I said, I want to buy enough paint to paint the room. Do I cover all the surfaces in the room?
No.
No, we only do what? This is, let's say this is a rectangular prism and there's no cabinets or anything else. I'm not covering everything. What am I covering? Yeah, front and back, left and right. I'm not covering the ceiling. I'm not covering the floor. Okay? So sometimes we have to think about those things. Like I might not be covering all of it. We might only need to paint the walls. So that's going to make a difference in the numbers we need to use. Okay? All right. I am going to give you a piece of paper.